The authorities are investigating the fatal shooting of 21-year-old Elizabeth Arzola. The incident occurred at around 9:30 p.m. on the 6th of June 2022. Elizabeth was sitting in a parked car along the 700 block of Robert D. Ray Drive in Des Moines, Iowa, when at least 10 shots were fired into her car. The authorities responded to the scene on reports of shots fired, and when they arrived, they found Elizabeth dead, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. The investigators said they recovered a handgun hidden under a tree nearby, and the investigators believe the shooting was a targeted attack. The authorities said that witnesses and people close to the victim have been cooperative. Des Moines Police Sergeant Paul Parizek said, "We're able to figure out that this was most likely somebody that had either targeted her or the person who was with her, noting that at least one other person was inside the vehicle. The motive of the attack is unclear. The investigation remains ongoing, and no arrests have been made to date." 2 dead bodies have been found in an apartment in Houston, Texas. The discovery was made just before midday on the 7th of June 2022, after a man went to visit his estranged wife at apartment number 2 at 5128 Silver Creek Drive, when he found a body and that of another man in 2 separate rooms had been dead for some time. He contacted the authorities, who arrived at the scene and started an investigation into their deaths. The police confirmed that the bodies were found in a state of decomposition, stating that it's unclear how long they were dead for, and any potential injuries were not immediately apparent. Neighbours have said that as recently as the 5th of June, people were seen inside the apartment partying. The authorities believe that the deaths were either from natural causes or due to an overdose, and are awaiting autopsy and toxicology reports to confirm the cause of death. No further information on the pair was available, as the investigation into the matter continues. 48-year-old Justin Simpson and 29-year-old Stephanie Sedlin faced numerous charges after being found passed out on drugs in a hot car with toddlers in the back seat. The incident occurred on the 6th of June 2022, when the authorities were dispatched to 400 Todd Hunter Road in Monroe, Ohio. Stephanie, who was in the passenger seat, had to be woken up, while Justin was in the driver's seat slumped over the steering wheel. Officers noticed a small rock-like substance wrapped in plastic on his lap, which Justin later admitted was crack. Deputies found 18-month-old toddler twins sitting in the back, who were extremely hot, sweaty, thirsty and filthy. They were sitting in old fast food scraps with diapers that hadn't been changed for some time. Stephanie's pupils were enlarged, and she appeared to be lethargic and refused medical attention. Officers also located a crack pipe in the door pocket beside her. Both were arrested and faced charges of child endangerment and disorderly conduct, whereas Justin faces the additional charge of drug possession. They're held at the Butler County Jail. Stephanie's on a $2,000 bond, whereas Justin's on a $5,000 bond. 23-year-old Tatiana Gatson has been charged with murder after a man she lured into a robbery attempt on a dating app fatally shot her brother in self-defense. It all started on the 31st of May 2022, when Tatiana posed as a 22-year-old woman named Jada on the BLK dating app and hooked up with a man. She invited him over to meet her at the Canes Palms Court apartment complex in Tampa, Florida, where her 18-year-old brother Jamon Kennard was waiting to rob him. As the man arrived, Jamon came out wearing a mask and threatened him with a knife and demanded cash. Defending himself, the man pulled out a gun from his waistband and shot Jamon in the head and chest. He was rushed to a local hospital, where he was pronounced dead. When investigators questioned Tatiana, she told the investigators she had gone outside to check on him and heard 5 gunshots. She said she thought her brother was going to sell the man an iPhone and was not aware of any planned robbery. Her phone records, however, show that she sent a text to her brother to come outside before the man arrived. While Tatiana did not shoot her brother, a Florida law states that when a person is killed during an attempted crime, murder charges can be filed against anyone involved in the crime. Tatiana was taken into custody and was charged with murder. She has since been released on a $15,000 bond, pending her next court appearance. According to an obituary, Jamon was completing his senior year at the Carver Exceptional Center in Tampa. He'll be missed by all who knew him, the obituary said. 3 people have been killed and another critically injured after a shooting took place at a home. The incident occurred at around 9:36 a.m. on the 7th of June 2022, when the authorities responded to a residence located at 1628 Maple Avenue in Portsmouth, Virginia, on reports of shots fired. When officers arrived, they found a man and 2 women dead from gunshot wounds. They were identified as 30-year-old Georgia Lee 37-year-old Alicia Mears, and 34-year-old Ashley Merricks. A 66-year-old man, whose name remains anonymous, was also present at the home and was shot. He's in a critical condition at the hospital fighting for his life. The police said that none of the victims are related, and the home where the victims lived is a boarding home. Police believe an SUV is connected to this crime. They're looking for a 2011 black GMC Acadia with Virginia tags VVF 9829. Detectives are appealing to anyone who may have information on the triple homicide to call police. Other details on the shooting have been released as the investigation into the matter continues.